Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world where relationships are built on effort, communication, and mutual respect. But sometimes one person finds themselves always initiating conversations, making plans, and keeping the connection alive. If that's you, then ask yourself, what happens when you stop reaching out? The answer is simple. A man's true intentions and feelings will be revealed. When you stop chasing, you allow space for clarity. A man who truly values you will step up. But one who is just enjoying the convenience of your effort will slowly fade away. This is not about playing games. It's about knowing your worth and seeing if he is willing to meet you halfway. So let's talk about what happens when you stop reaching out. When you stop reaching out to a man, one of the first things that will happen is that he will notice your absence. If he genuinely values you and the connection you share, he won't let the silence last for long. A man who truly cares will take action instead of waiting for you to do all the work. At first, he might be caught off guard. If he's used to you always initiating conversations, checking in on him, and making plans, your sudden withdrawal will make him wonder what's changed. He might start questioning if you've lost interest or if something is wrong. And that's exactly where his true feelings will start to surface. A man who cares about you won't just sit back and let you drift away. He will reach out because he doesn't want to lose the connection. He will text, call, or even make the effort to see you in person because, deep down, he values your presence in his life. It won't be a forced reaction. It will be instinctive. Real interest and affection don't just fade away because one person stops reaching out. Instead, they motivate the other person to step up. But there's a key distinction to make here. Is he reaching out because he misses you, or is he just seeking validation? A man who truly cares will check in with genuine concern, ask how you are, and try to understand why you've been distant. He won't just send a casual, hey, or what's up, after days of silence without making any real effort to engage. A genuine man will take time to express that he values you and wants to keep the relationship alive. On the other hand, if he only reaches out occasionally with minimal effort or inconsistency, it might be because he's more interested in keeping his ego fed rather than maintaining a meaningful connection. A man who is only used to receiving attention might reach out just to confirm that you're still interested, but that's different from truly caring. If he steps up in a meaningful way, if he makes time for you, initiates deep conversations, and tries to bridge the gap, you'll know he cares. A man's effort when you stop reaching out speaks louder than any words he might say when you're the one always reaching out. True interest and respect don't need to be forced. They come naturally when someone genuinely values you. When you pull back, you give him the opportunity to show his intentions. The question is, will he rise to the occasion or will he let you go without a fight? His actions will give you the answer. When you stop reaching out to a man, one of the most revealing things that will happen is that his true intentions will come to light. Whether he was genuinely interested in you or just enjoying the attention, his response, or lack of one, will tell you everything you need to know. If a man was truly invested in you, your absence will make him take notice. He will start to wonder why the dynamic has changed and will take action to maintain the connection. He will reach out because he values your presence in his life and does not want to lose you. His effort will show that his feelings for you were real and that he wasn't just engaging with you for convenience. On the other hand, if he was only responding to your messages out of politeness, boredom, or ego, his reaction will be very different. If he disappears the moment you stop initiating, it becomes clear that he was never truly invested in the first place. A man who was only enjoying the convenience of your effort will not go out of his way to check on you. Instead, he will simply let the communication fade, which is a loud and clear message. He was never that serious about you. Another thing to observe is how quickly and consistently he responds once you stop reaching out. If he takes days or weeks to notice your absence, that's already an indication that you are not a priority for him. If he only messages occasionally with no real effort, it likely means he was just used to having you around but never truly valued your presence. There is also the case of men who reach out, but only in a self-serving way. Instead of showing genuine care, they might send a brief message just to check if you're still available, without any real intention of making an effort. They might say something vague like, hey, haven't heard from you in a while, but they won't ask meaningful questions or make any plans to see you. This kind of reaction indicates that they are simply trying to keep you as an option rather than truly appreciating your presence in their life. Some men may also react with frustration or irritation when you stop reaching out. This can happen when a man is used to being pursued and suddenly feels like he's losing control of the situation. Instead of stepping up and making an effort, he might act cold, distant, or even accusatory, making it seem like you're the one in the wrong for pulling away. This kind of response is a major red flag, as it shows he was more interested in receiving attention than building a real connection. Ultimately, when you stop reaching out, you stop giving someone the luxury of passive involvement. You force them to make a choice, step up and show real interest, or fade away and reveal that they were never truly invested. Either way, their response gives you the clarity you need to decide whether they are worth your time and effort. When you stop reaching out, one of the most powerful things that happens is that a man is forced to reflect on your value in his life. Human nature often takes things for granted when they are always present. If you are the one always initiating conversations, making plans, and keeping the connection alive, he may not have fully appreciated what you brought to the table. But the moment you step back, everything changes. At first, he might not immediately notice your absence. If he was used to you always reaching out, he may assume you'll eventually text or call again. However, as more time passes without hearing from you, he will begin to feel the difference. He will start to realize that the energy, effort, and warmth you provided are no longer there. The daily or weekly interactions he once had with you, the ones he may have taken for granted, are now missing, and that absence will make him question just how much you meant to him. This realization can happen in a few different ways. Some men will start to feel your absence emotionally. They will miss your support, the way you listened, the way you made them feel valued and important. Others will feel it more practically, realizing that their days feel a little emptier without your messages, your laughter, or your presence. The good morning texts, the thoughtful check-ins, or the plans you used to make. When all of that disappears, it leaves a noticeable gap. For a man who truly cares about you, this realization will lead to action. He will recognize that you were bringing something special into his life, something that wasn't just about attention, but about genuine connection. He will see that your effort was a sign of your care, not just a habit. And if he truly values you, he will start to understand that he needs to put in effort too, because a one-sided relationship is never sustainable. However, this moment of realization can also bring about regret. If he had been taking you for granted, he might start replaying past interactions in his mind, wondering if he missed signs that you were getting tired of always being the one to reach out. He may start to question whether he did enough to show you that he appreciated you. But here's the key. A man who truly values you will not just realize your worth, he will act on it. He won't just sit there thinking about how much he misses you. He will reach out, express his feelings, and try to fix the imbalance. He will make the effort to rebuild the connection, showing you through actions, not just words, that he recognizes your value. On the other hand, if he lets you go without making any real effort to reconnect, then that tells you everything you need to know. It means that he either never truly valued you in the first place, or he was only interested in the relationship when it was convenient for him. And that in itself is an answer. When you stop reaching out, you create the space for a man to truly see what you meant to him. You give him the opportunity to appreciate you not just in theory, but in reality. And how he responds to that realization will tell you everything about where you stand in his life. When you stop reaching out to a man, especially if you were always the one initiating, he might initially feel confused. If he has grown accustomed to you always being the one to start conversations, make plans, and keep the connection alive, your sudden silence will disrupt the pattern he has come to expect. At first, he may not immediately react. He might assume that you're just busy or that this is temporary, and he may wait for you to eventually reach out as you always have. But as time passes and you still don't make a move, he will start to wonder, why isn't she reaching out? Did something change? Is she losing interest? This confusion can lead him to feel challenged. If he has been comfortable in the relationship without putting in much effort, your decision to pull back forces him to rethink his approach. He may start questioning whether he should have been doing more all along. If he truly values you, he will recognize that he needs to step up and make an effort, rather than just passively enjoying the attention you used to give him. Some men, especially those who are used to women pursuing them, may struggle with this change. If he has always been in control of the dynamic, knowing that you would reach out no matter what, your withdrawal can shake his confidence. It can make him realize that you are no longer willing to accept a one-sided effort. This can create an internal struggle. Should he put in more effort, or should he let you go and avoid the responsibility of maintaining the relationship? There is also another type of reaction that some men might have: frustration. Instead of recognizing that they need to step up, they may feel annoyed or even resentful that you are no longer chasing them. They might think, why is she suddenly acting different? Is she playing games? These types of men may try to test you by waiting even longer to reach out, just to see if you eventually break the silence. This reaction reveals a lot about their character. Rather than seeing your silence as a sign that they should invest more, they see it as a challenge to their ego. In some cases, a man might try to reassert control by reaching out in a casual, non-committal way. Instead of making a genuine effort to reconnect, he may send a vague message like, hey, haven't heard from you in a while, or you've been quiet lately. These types of messages are often sent just to see if you're still interested, without requiring him to put in any real effort. If he truly cares, his response will be more meaningful. He will ask how you're doing, acknowledge the change, and make an effort to show that he values you. Ultimately, when you stop reaching out, you disrupt the cycle he has become comfortable with. His confusion, frustration, or eventual effort will reveal how he truly feels. If he sees your silence as a sign to step up and make a real effort, then you'll know he values you. But if he remains passive, annoyed, or indifferent, then you'll also have your answer. This period of uncertainty is not about playing games. It's about giving yourself the space to see if he's willing to meet you halfway. And his reaction will show you whether he was truly invested in the connection or if he was only there because of your constant effort. When you stop reaching out, a man's reaction will tell you everything you need to know about how he truly feels about you. One of the clearest ways to measure a man's interest and emotional investment is through his effort. Words can be misleading. Someone can say they care, but if their actions don't match, then those words mean nothing. That's why stepping back and observing his effort is so important. If a man truly values you, he will make an effort to stay connected. He won't allow too much time to pass without reaching out because he genuinely wants you in his life. His actions will reflect his feelings, whether that means calling to check on you, sending thoughtful messages, or making plans to see you. His effort won't be forced. It will be natural, because when someone cares, they don't hesitate to show it. On the other hand, if he does little to nothing when you stop reaching out, that speaks volumes. A man who is only engaging with you out of convenience or habit won't suddenly start making an effort. Instead, he will likely remain passive, waiting to see if you'll eventually break the silence. This is a clear indication that he wasn't as invested as you thought. It's also important to pay attention to the quality of his effort, not just the fact that he reaches out. Some men might realize you've pulled back and send a half-hearted message just to keep you engaged. A quick, hey, haven't heard from you, or a simple, how have you been, isn't enough. If he's genuinely interested, his effort will go beyond that. He will take the time to ask real questions, show concern, and take action to keep the connection alive. Additionally, consistency matters. A man who truly cares will not just reach out once and then disappear again. He won't just check in occasionally when he's bored or lonely. Instead, he will show a steady effort over time, proving that his feelings are real and not just momentary reactions to your absence. Some men, however, may react with ego rather than emotion. Instead of realizing they should step up, they may play the waiting game, thinking, if she's not reaching out, I won't either. This kind of response is a clear sign that he is more focused on power dynamics than on building a meaningful relationship. A man who truly cares about you will not let pride get in the way. He will prioritize connection over control. There are also those who will put in just enough effort to keep you interested, but not enough to truly show commitment. These are the ones who reach out inconsistently, giving you just enough attention to keep you from fully walking away. This kind of behavior is not about genuine care. It's about maintaining an option rather than building a real connection. The key takeaway here is that effort is a direct reflection of feelings. A man who values you will show you through actions, not just words. He will step up, be present, and make sure you know that he cares. And if he doesn't, then he has given you the answer. You were never a priority to him. When you stop reaching out, one of the most powerful things that happens is that you reclaim control over your own emotions, time, and self-worth. For too long, you may have been the one constantly initiating conversations, making plans, and ensuring the relationship stayed alive. Without realizing it, you may have placed your happiness in someone else's hands, relying on their responses to feel valued. But the moment you stop chasing, everything shifts. You regain your power. First and foremost, you take back your emotional energy. Constantly being the one to reach out can be exhausting, especially if you're met with lukewarm responses or inconsistent effort. It creates an unbalanced dynamic where you're always giving, but never truly receiving. When you stop, you remove yourself from that one-sided cycle, and suddenly you have time and energy to focus on yourself instead of constantly wondering if or when he will reply. You also regain control over the situation. Before, the power was in his hands. He got to decide when and how to respond, and you were left waiting. But when you step back, you flip the script. Now, it's up to him to make a move. He is the one who has to decide if he values you enough to put in effort. And in this shift, you are no longer dependent on someone else's actions to feel validated. Instead, you stand in your own confidence, knowing that you deserve mutual effort and respect. Another powerful realization that comes from stepping back is that you are no longer playing a role that doesn't serve you. Often people don't realize they have been operating from a place of desperation, constantly trying to prove their worth by being overly available, checking in, and ensuring the other person stays interested. But when you stop reaching out, you send a silent but powerful message. I am not chasing. I am not begging for attention. I am worth more than this. At first, this shift can feel uncomfortable, especially if you've been used to always making the effort. You might worry, what if he never reaches out? What if he forgets about me? But here's the truth. If someone truly values you, they won't forget you. And if they do nothing when you step back, then they were never truly invested in the first place. The most empowering part of this process is that it forces clarity. When you were always reaching out, you may have been unknowingly covering up the truth, filling the space with effort so that you wouldn't have to see whether or not he was willing to do the same. But when you stop, you allow the reality of the situation to reveal itself. You see who is truly interested and who is just passively enjoying the attention. And beyond the relationship itself, this newfound power extends into every area of your life. You begin to set boundaries, not just with this person, but with others who may have been taking your time and energy for granted. You start to see your own worth more clearly, realizing that you should never have to chase love, attention, or respect. It's not about playing games. It's about demanding the kind of effort that you truly deserve. By reclaiming your power, you are no longer at the mercy of someone else's inconsistency. You step into a place of confidence, self-respect, and emotional independence. And that shift, it changes everything. When you stop reaching out to a man, something profound begins to happen. You start to feel a shift within yourself. The energy you once spent chasing, worrying, or overanalyzing his actions is now redirected back to you. Instead of waiting for his responses, wondering if he cares, or feeling anxious about whether you should reach out again, you begin to focus on your own worth. And as you do this, your confidence naturally starts to grow. At first, this change might feel uncomfortable. If you've been the one constantly initiating conversations and maintaining the connection, pulling back can feel like stepping into unfamiliar territory. You might catch yourself wanting to send that text, check his social media, or make excuses for his silence. But as you resist that urge and stand firm in your decision, something powerful happens. You begin to realize that you don't need validation from someone else to feel secure in yourself. Every time you choose not to reach out, you are making a statement to yourself. I am valuable. I am worthy of mutual effort. I do not need to chase love. This simple shift in mindset reinforces your self-respect, and over time, it strengthens your confidence in ways you may not have expected. One of the biggest confidence boosters that comes from stepping back is the realization that you are in control of your own happiness. When you were always the one initiating, you may have unknowingly tied your sense of self-worth to his responses. A quick reply would make you feel wanted, while a delayed or indifferent response might have left you feeling insecure. But now, without that external validation, you learn to find confidence from within. You no longer wait for someone else's attention to feel good about yourself. You create that feeling on your own. Another major shift happens when you start seeing the situation for what it truly is. When you were always reaching out, you might have been blinded by hope, hoping that if you just tried a little harder, showed a little more effort, or proved your value, he would eventually step up. But now, without your constant effort keeping the connection alive, his true feelings become clear. If he doesn't reach out, you realize that it was never about your worth. It was about his lack of investment. And that realization frees you. As you continue on this path, you start to notice other changes in your confidence. You begin to carry yourself differently. You stop second-guessing yourself. You set higher standards, not just in romantic relationships, but in all areas of life. You start recognizing that you don't have to beg for love, attention, or respect. Those things should come naturally when you're with the right person. Another incredible thing that happens when your confidence grows is that you become more attractive, not just physically, but emotionally and energetically. Confidence is magnetic. When you no longer come from a place of neediness or desperation, people notice. The energy of self-assurance draws the right people toward you and naturally filters out those who were never truly invested. You also begin to rediscover yourself. Maybe you had been so focused on making the relationship work that you lost sight of your own passions, goals, and dreams. But now, with your energy no longer consumed by someone else, you have time to focus on yourself again. You start doing things that make you happy, pursuing hobbies that excite you, and embracing the person you are outside of the relationship. And in that process, your confidence grows even more because you remember that your life is full and meaningful on its own. Ultimately, stepping back from constantly reaching out isn't just about seeing how he reacts. It's about how you change in the process. It's about realizing your own strength, reclaiming your independence, and stepping into a version of yourself that no longer accepts less than what you deserve. And that growth, it's something no one can take away from you. One of the most significant outcomes of stopping your outreach in a relationship is that you gain clarity on whether the man in question is truly worth your time and emotional investment. In the fast-paced world of dating, it's easy to get caught up in feelings and assumptions, often leading to confusion about where you stand with someone. However, when you decide to pull back, you allow the situation to unfold naturally, revealing the truth about his feelings and intentions. Initially, this may feel daunting. You might worry about what will happen if you stop reaching out. What if he doesn't care? What if he never contacts you again? But those worries are often rooted in fear, and by facing that fear head on, you create a space for honesty and clarity. By choosing not to chase after him, you stop forcing a connection that may not be mutual, allowing both of you to see the relationship for what it truly is. As you give him the space to react, his actions, or lack thereof, will provide you with clear indicators of his interest level. If he values you, he won't hesitate to reach out. He'll want to understand what's changed, express his feelings, and reignite the connection. This willingness to engage after you've stopped reaching out speaks volumes about his feelings. It shows that he recognizes your worth and is willing to put in the effort to maintain the relationship. Conversely, if he doesn't reach out at all or does so with minimal effort, you gain significant clarity on where you stand. His lack of action will indicate that he wasn't as invested in the relationship as you were. This realization can be difficult to accept, especially if you had hopes for the relationship. However, gaining this clarity is invaluable. It frees you from lingering in a situation that may not serve you and allows you to focus on finding someone who genuinely values and appreciates you. This newfound clarity can lead to a more profound understanding of your own needs and desires. As you step back and observe how he reacts, you'll start to identify what you truly want in a partner. Do you want someone who is consistently communicative, invested, and willing to put in the effort? Or have you been settling for less? When you see how he responds to your withdrawal, you can better gauge whether he aligns with your expectations and values. Moreover, this clarity allows you to evaluate the relationship objectively. You can assess the dynamic without the emotional noise that comes from constant communication. By stepping back, you remove yourself from the emotional highs and lows, enabling you to see patterns that may have gone unnoticed. For instance, if he often makes excuses for not being available, or if conversations feel one-sided, this time apart can help you recognize these red flags more easily. Another critical aspect of gaining clarity is understanding the concept of effort in relationships. When you stop reaching out, you give him the opportunity to show whether he is willing to match your effort. This not only reveals his feelings, but also provides insight into how he views the relationship. A partner who is committed will not wait for you to initiate. Instead, he will proactively seek to engage and strengthen the connection. If he doesn't, it's a clear sign that he may not be the partner you deserve. In the end, clarity empowers you to make informed decisions about your romantic life. You can approach future relationships with a newfound sense of self-awareness and confidence, knowing what you want and need. Whether it leads you to move on or to rekindle a connection with the right person, the clarity you gain from stopping your outreach will serve as a foundation for healthier and more fulfilling relationships in the future. It's about reclaiming your time, energy, and emotional investment for those who are truly worth it. In conclusion, taking a step back and stopping your outreach can be one of the most empowering decisions you make in your relationship journey. It allows you to regain your power, cultivate your confidence, and ultimately gain the clarity needed to understand whether the man in your life is truly worthy of your time and emotional investment. By doing so, you open the door to self-discovery and self-respect, reaffirming that you deserve a partner who meets you halfway with genuine effort and appreciation. Remember, relationships should be a balance of give and take, and the right person will not hesitate to step up when you pull back. Embrace this process as an opportunity for growth, knowing that every step you take toward valuing yourself paves the way for healthier, more fulfilling connections in the future. Trust that your worth is inherent, and never be afraid to demand the level of commitment and care that you deserve. Thank you for considering this perspective on love and relationships. May you always prioritize your own happiness and choose to invest your time in those who truly value you.